First responders rushed into a cloud of dust and debris to save lives, many of them sacrificing their own. The nation now honors them as heroes for their bravery. Many say that few, if any, of the iconic images of these heroes are people of color, yet they too made the ultimate sacrifice on that day. Keith Morse is a New York City police officer. He was one of the first officers to reach the World Trade Center after the first plane hit. John Coombs is the president of the Vulcan Society, which is a fraternal organization of black firefighters. I want to take this opportunity to welcome both of you to Arise America. Keith, I want to start with you. Tell us what was going through your mind, what you witnessed when you got down there. What happened?
We went into the lobby of the North Trade Center, and we went up to the mezzanine level. And outside the windows, there's a courtyard. And what I noticed was there was a male white. He had blue jeans on and a striped shirt. He was laying against the window. And I noticed to the left of him in the middle of the courtyard, there was a part of someone's leg and plane debris.
John, I want to bring you in on this. We're talking about legs and body parts. I, of course, covered that story. You know that there were at least a dozen black firefighters that lost their lives. Of course, we talk about Vernon Cherry and Leon Smith from Ladder 118. They never found their bodies. But yet and still, we never hear these stories. Why do you think this is?
I think, by and large, the emphasis is on the fact that 343 lives were lost, and all too often, we tend to lose sight of particular individuals. There are very few black firefighters to begin with, and we would have their legacies, those lives that were lost, still be upheld and acknowledged. So it's important. It's part of history, and I believe we should emphasize
Well, I think it is. Of course, we're talking about back to 2011. I think only 3% of the fire department are people of color. But yet and still, when you see, and we review this every year, rightfully so, you hardly see any people of color, firefighters, iron workers, construction workers, ever featured. I mean, I particularly don't see them. Do you?
No, we can do a better job. I would encourage all of us to expect more, to realize that this nation and our city is as diverse as it is, should encompass that in its reporting and telling stories outside of a particular story, tell the stories of all the citizens of New York. And if we're doing that, then those 12 and others will be mentioned.
Keith, you're obviously still on the job with the 50th Precinct here in New York City. Every year that this comes up, I've got to ask you, because you saw a lot. And I think you were also injured down there, too. What goes through your mind every year when the remembrance of 9/11 comes up?
Well, this is the first year that I wasn't down there. I was a Man South Task Force for 17 and a half years, and this is my first year in the Bronx. And as a unit, Man South Task Force, we go down to the site every year for 9/11. This is my first year not going down there. And it was a little strange not being down there.
John, yourself also, I mean, you were around, of course, that day. You were on the job, not there specifically at the time that the planes crashed. But it's a situation where it's very difficult for you to go down there or even think about that day.
I've since gotten better with it. There was years ago, not long ago, but a few years ago, up until that point, I was struggling with attending. I would do what was necessary. So if we had to respond, if I was working in a Manhattan company, for example, and we had to respond, I would do it. We're trained to do that, and I would follow my training. It takes time. And we all need to heal and grow. But in doing that, we still have to tell all the stories, all the details.
We've heard about people who have been healed or helped heal by reaching out to people that perhaps they may have saved, or people that they know, family members that are alive, survivors of victims down there, and that they console one another. Do you folks ever see anybody? I know we got less than a minute left, but Keith, I want to start with you. Do you ever talk with anybody that you may have saved, or do you see anybody at all?
No.
You don't?
No. I spoke at John Perry's funeral because we were side by side. I was probably one of the last people to see him. But other than that, no.
Well, I've had the benefit of seeing some of the black firefighters who perished families, and that for me is a healing process.
Gentlemen, we've run out of time, but I just want to thank both of you for being here and both of you for your service. You, of course, advocating more black firefighters on the job now. Things have changed somewhat since 9/11, and that's always a good thing. And, of course, you're still working. That's a good thing to see that you are working, that you've survived, that you've healed enough, that you can still be out there at part of New York's finest, saving people and protecting people in this city. So congratulations to both of you. As far as I'm concerned, and here at Rise America, both of you are indeed heroes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Julian.